Welcome to another workshop video from Turo University. We're excited to cover today's workshop that's going to cover how companies train LLMs for creative consistency, speed, and cost savings. Please welcome PhD Rosemary Fitzgerald, who will be hosting today's workshop video.
I really appreciate the opportunity to speak tonight about training your learning language management systems. So, tonight, I am going to focus on the creative aspect of AI and speak a little bit on how brands and agencies and designers are utilizing AI and which programs are offering capabilities, all for the purpose of training on the brand style that you'd like in order to get the output that is desired. So it's a wonderful thing to see how AI is just going so fast in developing new features, functionality, and capabilities. And all the designers and agencies that are in, especially small businesses, are taking advantage of the opportunity to utilize these tools for creative. But then it gets to the point where now, if we're creating on a regular basis inside these programs, how do we utilize them, be efficient, save money, save time, and gain the consistency in what we're developing from a brand perspective? So just a little bit, I've taught at Turo for, I think it's all 5 or 6 years now. And the areas in which I've taught are digital marketing, analytics, educational technology, and edutainment type of course. And I've taught both in the Graduate School of Technology, as well as the graduate MBA program that Toro has. And as I have my own digital marketing firm, so you can imagine that the AI tools and features and functionality that are exploding on the world today are exciting to me, not just because they enable us to be more expedient and more efficient, but also much more creative and spend time on the best practices and strategic practices that will have my clients be successful. And so in the class, we look at the tools from the perspective of how are these empowering us, not replacing us, because they're not. In fact, it's going to explode in opportunity. And it just means, you need to jump full force into AI. And I know it can, some of you may be very well experienced, some of you are brand new. But it's just one of those things that you put your arms around and give it a great big hug and just jump right in. So what we're going to do tonight is take it from the perspective of why are we training the learning language management systems, right? It's mostly focused on where the demands of large brands right now. And so as their teams are using a program like Midjourney, which we're going to see this evening, why do they need to train those programs in order to work in more effective ways with their teams, with their staff, with their graphic artists, with their designers? And it's, that consistency. Brands spend, and you probably experience this quite a bit. You've had those ads that follow you around the web, because today, in order to get someone's attention, it's really, I think it's anywhere between 8 and 12 times that a brand needs you to see it before you even click on anything. Especially, hopefully the brand is targeting you in an effective way. It's a product or service that is of interest to you. But it used to be we could show you a brand ad or promotion or just the brand itself 4 or 5 times, and that would be enough to get your attention. But with the competition, with the amount of brands coming at us and visuals, across social and TV, it takes a lot more to get our attention. So brands need to deliver consistent tones, visuals, messaging, and this is all for reducing cost and time, improving the time to market. So we're going to focus in on how are we building custom AI brand assistants. A lot of people are calling them an assistant. These are tools. These are features, functionality that you can put in your wheelhouse to empower you to do your job in a more effective way and to have tools do a lot of the grunt work, which is wonderful. From a brand perspective, brands, the largest brands, are looking into AI in a variety of ways. And I just thought I'd mention really quickly. A lot of times right now, the brands are employing promotional programs where they're getting the audience involved. In fact, Coke is asking people to jump right in with Dolly Sandbox and creating visuals. And they're using them internally, but then they're also asking the audiences, the target audiences, to get involved. And the same is true for a brand like ketchup. They actually ran programs to create your ketchup bottle using AI and got a lot of fun, animated, engaging ways to depict their ketchup bottle and to also get a lot of attention on social, which is, that's kind of the purpose. Beauty brands are wavering, as you can imagine, because they don't necessarily want to use an AI generated model as a representative of that beauty brand. But they are, with Pond's, let's say, and Unilever, using it in other ways to engage people and finding that ads can be more customized, more targeted, and more engaging because they're understanding more about their audience and how to access them and where to access them, that kind of thing. But I will tell you, there are brands, and I should mention, like Unilever, there are brands like Dove that definitely says they will never use an AI generated model. They do use AI in generating their product in different scenes, and we'll look a little bit at that later today. But I will tell you, just to give you an example, this is actually a client of mine. And it's called Evertrue. It's a spa, and they've got locations in both. I'm just moving windows around in both New York and Chicago. So they're actually doing quite well, which we help them with ads and SEO and all kinds of fun ways to generate revenue and generate leads. They actually do utilize AI to generate images. One of the things that they are specialists in are brows, tattoos for brows, which you may have heard about. And their focus is on showing you the most perfect brows. So they will use AI to generate those images. And I know some people will not feel they're not very supportive of that approach, and other people are fine with it. It doesn't really bother them. I will tell you, from a small business's perspective, and this is a little bit of what we're talking about today, it is something that more and more brands are going to embrace simply because of the reduction of costs. If this particular brand, Evertrue, wanted to do a photo shoot with these what was it, 4 or 5 models, 6 models, they would have to hire the talent, find a location and pay for it, get the crew to do the shoot, and then do, excuse me, apologize about my voice. It's a little hoarse. And then also do all the editing and retouching. And that in and of itself can be prohibitive for many small brands today, because the challenge is that small brands have the expenses that are difficult to keep up with. And if there are any ways that they can reduce costs, they are putting their arms around it and embracing it. So I just wanted to throw an example in there. I know, again, people feel a little differently. All right, tonight we're going to look at a few different platforms that are offering you the ability to customize and to train your AI program. Some of the ones that are very popular, you probably all know ChatGPT and the custom GPTs that are out there, which you can actually train individually and set them off and do the work that you want them to do. Canva is commonly used in the digital marketing world, and they are integrating a lot of AI more and more because they're trying to compete with some of the other channels that have come out. And so they'll will let you store logos, colors, fonts, and auto apply them within different deliverables, whether that's a piece of collateral, and now they're getting more into AI and animations as far as that. Same with Adobe Express. Adobe Express has been around for a long time, but there are reasons why, because it is good quality software. And they also are trying very hard to stay relevant and stay competitive in adding AI components into their tool sets and the ability to train so that you can do things more efficiently and more quickly. Runway is a newer program, which many of you may have heard. There's a lot of, have been working a lot on developing templates for you, whether that's a template for a particular type of promotion that you might put up on social, or even just a social video. They're looking at how templates can be utilized and how AI can help you customize them. Midjourney is one of my favorites. It is an image generator, animator, video developer, and it's one of the best for the ability to train. And they will allow you to reference things, what we'll talk a little bit about later today, something called seeds, SEED, like the ones you plant in the ground. And you can use those seeds very effectively in Midjourney to carry your style and references to camera and color and movements from image or video across as you're developing them. So it helps you have that consistency. OpenArt is one that is also a great program. And then Figma. I think many of you, if you're in the graduate school of technology, you're very familiar with Figma. Figma is working hard. They are trying very, very diligently to start to compete and even run a little bit into some of the things that Canva does, a program like Canva does and Adobe. So they will allow you to utilize, input and then utilize your brand colors, typography, and different design elements across, which is great. Okay, I'm just going to spend, not knowing the background of the audience, I'm just going to spend just a few minutes talking about GPTs and chat GPTs, just because of their ability to be trained. And it is from a digital marketing perspective. ChatGPT has a very good set of features that enable you in the development of prompts, in the development of draft images. And so it is very useful in the development of a lot of materials in this particular field. And GPTs are a whole new wonderful area that you can see. Just the GPTs go across writing, productivity, research, and education, Dolly programs. All of the big players are here. And these are ones that are just trending. You can see that Canva has their own GPT. So everybody is jumping on board with these GPTs. A lot of times they're a quick way for a brand like Canva to get people to know about them. And then they'll give you a few features available through GPT on ChatGPT. And then once you start using it more, obviously they will try to move you over to the bigger subscription. But I've used them in my classes where students have created a test market situation where they've defined a brand and they're asking it to go find competitors, opportunities, unique features that it should employ in the design of the products, and training that GPT to help you do everything from market research to competitive analysis and brand design suggestions, that type of thing. Wait, I think I went the wrong way. Yes. And you can see also Dolly is up here, and this coloring book hero, if you ever get a chance, is a lot of fun to play around with. It will let you input images or stories and create a full coloring book for you, which is really nice. And also programs like Monday. Okay, as you may know, there are multiple Chat GPT modes, and this is your ability to train Chat GPT to, again, understand what you need, understand your style, and understand how it should help you. Basically, the different modes are trying to enable the AI to be a different kind of assistant. So let's say your auto mode, oops, Your auto mode is blends scenes. GPT chooses between fast and deep thinking. And this is going to think of it like a manager who's, asking different questions for you. Then you've got instant mode, really quick. Thinking mode, deliberate intensive reasoning across the areas that you may be researching, or the stories that you're developing, or the brand that you're trying to launch into an industry. And you've got even pro mode, right? And this is going to get a lot more sophisticated and more complex in its analysis, but it is getting very smart. And you've probably heard the different levels of AI that are coming out, what is it, GAI, and then super AI, and even Elon Musk touting super AI in another year will be PhD level across every topic that we study. And whether that's true or not, it's, his marketing in order for you to go use his Grok solution and to help him get some more money. So when we're refining traits for GPT training, we're going to layer in, and it wants to challenge you. It wants to help you help yourself. So a progressive depth, right, can help you raise the bar every time you're entering a question, or you're giving it a challenge that you have. You could define your ChatGPT as a constructive challenger. So it's going to require it to question your assumptions, test your reasoning, and propose alternative strategies. So the research that I'm currently doing through Turo, I've set it to be a constructive challenger for me, because it is challenging my assumptions of even about research that I'm finding, and also about input that we're getting back from interviews and surveys. Ideal multiplier, always creating new ideas. Opportunity radar, where there's opportunity, which is great for brands and campaigns, campaign development. Then you've got things like foresight and trend spotter. And of course, you can combine these. But it's easy enough to go through customized ChatGPT, and it will give you suggestions of the types of assistance that it can be for you, which is really quite nice. So some of the advanced training that you can do is that you can, instead of just general prompts, you can train ChatGPT to act like a specific role with an embedded expertise. So in a case of a digital marketing firm, it could be your analytics person that you have that is trained in ChatGPT, and you feed it a lot of the information, and then you ask it to contradict you, you ask it to support what you're proposing, and to find opportunities again, that kind of thing. You could train your ChatGPT to be a progressive challenge frameworks. So an idea for this might be a corporate strategy team uses GPT to first generate conventional strategies. And then what's great is that it could help you disrupt your own list. And one of the things as a founder, I do work with a lot of startups, is that startups will oftentimes make assumptions about who is their target audience, who is in need of their product or service, and the value of their product or service as they've defined it. And what you can use AI to do is challenge you on that. And the reason that is so valuable, especially for startups, is that they don't have a lot of money oftentimes. And they want to make sure that every dollar is spent in the best productive way. We just got a client on that is an AI company in the legal industry, where they'll provide you, a consumer, with a full packet for $40, if in analyzing, I don't know if you had an accident or, personal fall, whatever it would be. And we actually asked ChatGPT to help us and be contradictory to the assumptions that we were making. And we actually found some fascinating information, as well as some competitors that are going off in a different route on AI that we didn't even know about. So things like that. Another idea is embedding frameworks and check marks. A marketing leader trains ChatGPT on a brand's creative framework, mission, tone, audience, visual identity. So every suggestion is tested against that framework. So it's not saying that it has to all look and feel the same. As you bring something in, there could be very crucial components to your brand that have to stay consistent, that you can have AI help you in the development of that. So advanced users don't really just prompt. What they are doing is training rituals where GPT is going to challenge, escalate, reframe, and you keep going into these testing modes. Because again, it's very valuable for being a marketer, because in marketing, you're constantly testing. You never leave a campaign up for, 2 months. You are always adjusting it and looking for audiences and trying to connect with the things that are valuable to your target. And that requires continual testing and challenging of your assumptions, that type of thing. Okay, let's look at a few of the programs. What is nice is I'm going to show you a couple different programs, and they each have slightly different approaches to how you might be training your models. This one's Image Studio. I like it a lot because it's so easy to use and it's a lot of fun. It enables you to, train on your style, character training, object training, and it starts off with something easy where you're uploading a few images, and the more images, the better. And of course, there are requirements to the quality of those images. And it enables you to choose a particular model to develop your output. And in this case, let's say this is a car company that wants to have their model set within the application, within the platform, so that what they can do is take this car and put it in any place in the world. They can have it running on, a closed track out in the deserts. They could have it running, through New York City. And so, again, for a company that wants to have a lot of creative that they probably couldn't have afforded, enabling the modeling in AI is then one step towards you then taking those images and taking that element, in this case, the character is the car, and being able to do a lot with it. Right. And it will allow you to, again, play with the style, the art style, a face or a particular element of that particular object. So you are you're creating your little profiles within the different programs, and you're developing your own models that you could use through, for campaigns, for different video animations that you might do from a promotional perspective. And here's an example. So again, these are just a lot of models. And one thing I'll mention, so with this new AI economy, what we're seeing is that there are a lot of new marketplaces and business opportunities that are developing. One of the ways that you'll start seeing more and more of different economies exploding is in the development of things like prompts, in the development of models, and other elements that you can utilize within the AI platforms. So I'll show you an example of a couple marketplaces where the whole basis of that is to develop models, and then you can get paid for the models that you're developing. So go back. So in this example, I chose this particular model. It's called Magenta. And after choosing that, what I asked the program to do through the prompt is create an island image with one teenage girl, one young boy, one young girl with light brown hair, and described their clothes and the style that I wanted. The program gives me a little bit of a variety from scene to scene. Not everything is perfect. You can see this little boy's head is almost non-existent, but the idea is that you're just looking for styles and references, and it takes the style from the model that you develop. Now, if I went and I chose this particular model and asked the exact same thing, I'm getting a completely different output. And it's great. I will tell you, if nothing else, right now, from a digital marketing perspective, and using the tools to help you ideate in the original stage of trying to put a brand together, whether you're writing a children's book or clothing line, or whether you're creating promotions for a new children's museum that's coming along, whatever it is, the AI programs are very good for helping you put those initial ideas together, which again improves the options for and the creativity available for your team, as well as it reduces costs and speeds things up just a little bit. There are differences between text learning and multimodal learning. And this is really what's been in my field, but has been exploding more and more. And they're figuring it out because I will tell you, it's not a perfect science. When we go and we'll use the same prompts, the same seeds, same information on Tuesday and then go do it on Friday, the outputs are not exactly alike, even though the programs would like you to think that that will happen. It just doesn't happen. But they are getting the improvements that have been made just within 1 year have been lightning. It's just stunning, and it's almost a little difficult to keep up with. I will tell you, even in just putting this presentation together, features and functionality change. Things get added, things get moved, and even deleted because they're looking at how to distinguish their programs. Obviously you've got Microsoft playing, you've got Google playing, you've got some individuals like Midjourney and Imagine Art and different ones that are trying to make their name, and they are each looking at what features and functionality will get them there the fastest. So modal learning, it's going to be the AI systems that are incorporating different elements like text, images, audio, sorry, I didn't mean to do that, video, and even sensor data. So it's going to learn across all of those and try to understand how you see the world. Because honestly, if we're all describing a sunset, we may describe it differently. So I may see a sunset differently for my children's book, and you're writing another children's book, you may describe the sunset in a different way. So it's seeing, hearing, and reasoning to develop it. One of the platforms that's out there as an example is one called Hugging Face. I love their name. And it actually is one of those platforms I mentioned before where you can go and develop different models and find the latest models that are out there. This is a huge exploding area because the models get fed into each of the AI programs that are generating the creative. And so you can be a part of that. And this is one of the economies that's developing. Okay. For marketers, designers, storytellers, AI can now move between ideation, which is the thing that is a huge value proposition to designers and creatives and brands, all that kind of stuff. But they can move to and from that and production without translation gaps, without there being things that are missing. So that's what they're trying to do. It's a little lofty, to be very honest, because the programs are good, but they're not great. Okay. MLLMs are trained on aligned data sets that pair with text, right? You've got text to image, text to video, text to audio, and then programs like Midjourney, Runway, Sora, or Leonardo, they have learning that enables text to image to text, video to concept, cross-skill creativity. Again, I don't know if you listened to Musk when he was trying to say his program is the best in the world a couple weeks ago. One of the things that he was touting is that his program will be able to create a full-length feature movie just from a text description. Certainly can't do that today, but it will be interesting to watch the progression and how fast that is occurring. It's not linear. It is what you would more reference like an exponential growth because of the speed with which things are evolving, and it will be interesting. So what we're looking at is the model builds across modal embeddings, what's cross and modal embeddings, which is a term that people are using now. So it's a shared conceptual map. And if you are familiar with AI, because AI has existed for a long time, the whole way that AI works is making connections between different concepts, between a sunset and the color orange, that kind of thing. And so this is just that it continues to build and build and build on itself, and enabling that those making those connections, which enables it to, let's say, have 300 images of sunsets, and you're saying put a sunset in the New York City, that type of thing. So it's able to make the connections, and then to able to create those assets. Iterative prompting, right? This is very important. So a lot of times people will go up into different creative AI programs and just think that it should work right away when they put in a prompt. Well, why doesn't that program understand what I'm saying? And you have to think about it that it is in an iterative environment, that it learns every single time you go up there. And now, because we can train it, it will remember. That was what was missing before, right? So it learns every single time you're there, but you want it to remember the things you told it yesterday. And that's what we're looking at. So we're moving from directional prompting, which is, creating pretty things and cool things, to prompting that has an intent, which means it has to have a style and a purpose, and it's around, a lot of times, around a brand or around a campaign or around, the goals that you're setting for your business. That's that kind of thing. So some of the best practices are what they would call micro training through repetition. Many times, it's so funny. In some instances, I'll go to create a promotional piece and it could take me 2 tries. And then another time it could take me 15. And it's interesting. The systems are learning, but one of the other things that's happening is there's a lot of input, and not all the input from, let's say, other designers, I'll just choose designers as an example, is logical. So sometimes somebody might go up and input something that says um, all sunsets should be purple and black. And things can throw off the systems. So what AI is trying to do is to also learn when something is not logical, and to treat it as an anomaly, and to not just automatically accept it. That was one of the things that was happening as well. Telling things that are not true from our general conceptions, that type of thing. Iterative prompting is rehearsal. You're teaching the AI how you want it to see. So every detail, things like camera angle, font, texture, tone, mood, all become of your creative language model. And I will tell you something, that it's growing so fast and expanding so fast that it can feel a little overwhelming, because that's a lot to include in a prompt. But I will tell you that there are a lot of places where you can get help. And one of the best places is ChatGPT. You can ask ChatGPT to help you in developing prompts for a particular program. It is learning more and more how a prompt should work in Midjourney versus Gemini. And that in and of itself helps quite a bit. Here's another example of a platform, one that's called Prompt Hero. This is also a new type of economy that's out there. There are tons and tons of companies that will sell prompts, for a couple dollars you can grab a prompt, and you can leverage it for make your modifications, make your customization, and magic that you have something that's really fast and completed. So that is great. And you can see this channel, in addition to helping you create your prompts, it will also help you create seeds. And we'll look at what that actually is in just a little bit. Oh my gosh, we're going really fast. Okay. Seed edit prompts is something that is also it's a number that references a style within your brand. And I'm going to show you that as an example. And this is just to give you an example. This is the type of prompt that you could grab. And there's more to it than this, but this is just a little quick one. So I can copy it, I can use it and create from this. Maybe I want my sneaker to be a high heel with all these flowers, whatever I might want. Prompt training. So as I'm going to go through this a little bit quick, so that we can show a few examples. Anybody has any questions or wants me to slow down, you just let me know. This is an example of an AI generated image, and I wanted to grab it because I liked the style for a project. And so I was able to go and grab the prompt, and I can leverage it to develop a new image with similar styles, which is, if anybody ever was around when the internet first came out and people were developing websites, what we would do is go borrow code. It was one of the easiest and most expedient ways for us to get up a new website, and it's a way that we learned. And this is very similar and even easier. So with this prompt, you can see that some of the indicators that it has, that it wants to be Disney Pixar 3D cinematic realism. And so it gives that particular style. It's a hero shot. It's holographic world map up in the background. It will give you, you're setting different blues. So anybody who is a designer knows, you need the codes in order to know exactly what blue you want. And that's very important for a brand because there are obviously a lot of different colors. And you can set the style and the glow and all those wonderful things. So now I grabbed that code from the program, which is great. And oh, I think did I change it there? No. And I changed some details about it. I said I wanted a woman who was not, I can't remember where I think he was in Greece. And I asked her to be on Lake Como, and she's an artist, and to have, instead of a holographic image in the sky, I asked it to have her envisioning what her painting's going to look like. That kind of thing. Kind of fun, easy way to leverage a style. And you can see in this particular program, it gave me two different, well, yeah, two different styles, different hats, different face. The clothing obviously is a little different, and even the scene is a little different. So I can use that to help me, and that was just the reference image that it had. Okay, seeds in AI design. This is an important element. It's a numerical starting point. Every time you enter a prompt, the model doesn't just draw your idea. It starts from a random, what we call a random noise pattern. And that in diffusion, that's why there's that program called diffusion. And it then takes references and starts to pull elements together in order for you to create those different elements. So the seed, as we call it, is really like a recipe, and it's an ID. So recipe ID is something that's being thrown around there a lot. You can start with the same seed, you'll get the same creative recipe. It does not always work. I am not going to say that this is going to be exactly consistent. If I gave you a seed and to use for your image, I bet it would be slightly different. Okay, in Midjourney, Leonardo, Stable Diffusion, you enter the prompt, the AI converts it into an embedding mathematical representation of your idea, right? And it starts with random noise and denoises, which is a funny term that people are using. The seed controls how much noise it starts with, right? Because it's giving you a base to reference, which is great. So in Midjourney, it just looks like this. And brands are using it so that they send off their designers and they know what seed they should use. So in this example, you'll see slight differences in the images. So this was seed 145, seed 42. Some of the colors and the highlights and the shadows are different. And this was another, I think this is 1000 something. So different shading, different colors. But you can imagine for a brand, that's going to be very, very different, because remember, what in marketing, what we need is for you to recognize that brand. And if it takes us 8 to 12 times to get your attention, the brand has to look exactly the same every single time. Okay, let's go on to a little bit more fun things. But before, one thing I did want to tell you, that as far as training, there are actually platforms now that will focus on helping you create your brand trained AI. And they're coming out quite quickly. And even Adobe Firefly is trying to do this. Although in my class with my students, Firefly is really frustrating us. It's not working the way it should. So you can generate across modalities, not just and have these programs are helping you go from one platform to the other. These are the kinds of things that you might want to include in iterative prompts, the cinematic elements, emotional format controls. And like I said, it is a little overwhelming sometimes, but you can use it very quickly uh, once you get into the mode and understand. So this is a brand, Halo 42, that wants to be rebranded. What's nice is that there are programs like Midjourney that let you create mood boards. You can create a mood board from images, links, even from your own gallery internal to Midjourney. And here's a couple of storyboards. You can see this is Midjourney's and it's selected. And what it will do by selecting it is when I go and I want a luxury skincare and I've detailed the packaging and it's referencing the skin mood board down here, what it will do is reference it in when it takes this prompt and the styling notes and it creates, let me just, sorry, so I'm going into Midjourney. I can detail style references in addition to the mood board, and I can also enter image prompts. Again, all training elements. So I asked it to reference this image plus the mood board that I showed you, and this is what it created for me. So if you remember, I'm just going to go back. These are the types of bottles that the client liked. And then what it was able to create from adding in that image is adding the elements together in the scene. Oh, it's a great question on the seed. You can, there is a sort of a reference table kind of thing in the world of AI that is developing, and I can get that to you after that tells you kind of what seeds. You can ask ChatGPT to create a seed that you can use based on the prompts that you have, but there's also references of what number you should use for a particular type of seed. But we can definitely go over that. So here's two different options. And then what's fun in Midjourney is I could also animate it. It's a little bit too much smoke coming out of that candle, but it does give you a little bit of an effect. And very quickly, even if I'm just helping the owner of the brand envision how their products would be viewed in this kind of scene at a spa in the woods, this is something that is very helpful in their envisioning what they really do want, that type of thing. Okay. Different, just to show you really quick, let's pick a different mood board. So this is very ethereal over here, just as an example. And so I've selected it right there. And this is the style it came out with. So it's very almost magical, not real world, not hyper realistic type of thing. And it creates multiple images. So what's great is you can envision the different styles that a brand might want to be very quickly. In different programs like Midjourney, it is asking you to create your preferences in your own style in a number of different ways. You can do those mood boards. You can use the seeds. What you can also do is it asks you to choose between images to set your preferred style, which is kind of like your personal style. And you might need to do it separately for a brand style. But you can see it's giving opposing images. It's an interesting thing. I don't know how effective it is, but a number of programs are using this approach to help them understand you, learn more about you. But choosing between this cat in this type of scene and the food, they don't really have a correlation, but it's working on it. Okay, some other programs where you can use community models in open art is a lot of fun. Again, similar to what we were using before. This is open art as well. Why I wanted to bring it up is that what it has here for it to learn about you and you to be able to create characters is that you can create your story videos from characters that you're developing in the scenes, and you can develop it from prompts and references, pose your characters, place your characters in different scenes, that type of thing. So again, for Halo 42, one of their mascots is the owner's dog. So we wanted to rebrand, but we also want to develop this mascot. And you can see we can input data or links from their Instagram, and they've got all kinds of images about this dog that they want to represent their brand. And it lets you go in and create your characters from images. The more images, the better. And then actually what it will produce is a full video, depending on what you wanted to do. I wanted it to be the dog experiencing the spa. So this is what it ended up being. So you can just see how much fun it can be. Oh, Tim, my pal, you're lucky you see. This is Arthur. You've got the best dog, and that's me. At the spa. I've got charm, I've got style, I've got a tail that runs a mile. Easy, can you tell? You got a dog who does it well. Guidance, I even sing, oh Tim, you got everything. Okay, I won't keep going, but it created such a wonderful promotional piece that he used at different events because the dog is the mascot, and it was very memorable from a brand's perspective. And it's the creating those characters is something that's very doable and manageable as far as those elements. This is a different character. So just so, oh, I know what I was going to say. The song in that video was done in Suno. So I went and described the dog, described the owner and how much he loved him and, the brand and the spa day that he was going to have. And I was able to create that song that was very applicable. This is just, I'll show you really quick, a different kind of character that I'm using for a book. And you can have the voiceover too. Wanted play with the different styles and scenes, which is fun. One more character, a shark for a different purpose. What's great about the programs is that they are all adding in storyboards. This helps you to create a real series of videos and promotional pieces for brands in a lot more effective way, instead of just trying to do it in individual prompts and then either put all your videos together in CapCut video editing programs. So here is Shark, and this was for a special promotion where now you've got a character. The nice thing about this is this character can be used to promote. It's for a sunscreen brand, the sunscreen in different places. So we developed the character initially so that they could, figure out, do they like the color, the style, that he's got flowers or she, and then we could start adding her in as a promotional voice for the brand. So we're always looking at what training stack, I guess you could call it, that we're trying to put together, because you don't want to use too many different programs. It can, again, be very overwhelming. ChatGPT, Midjourney, Sora, and CapCut we're still using because the programs are okay with the storyboards. They need to get better. I'll try one last one. This was for a clothing company that wanted to set a style of the dress in a lake with lily pads in the pond, and they wanted to apply the designs for their new clothing lines. So we started off with an individual, not with a particular dress, just to get different styles of movement. And you can see that there's water that came in here, just keeping that in just because it's kind of funny. So some of the motion is very stilted, some is not so great. This one's pretty good, except the dress flies up magically. And here, so we play around with different images, styles, motion while we're working with the client. And then we're creating storyboards. Again, Sora is also adding in storyboard capabilities. And one of the things I wanted to mention is that you want to be very consistent about the style of language. It's not just the accuracy of the prompt. It's the language that you're using in those prompts to develop something that's going to be consistent. So then we started to get the style of movement, and we started applying the different dresses that they had onto the models. And we're deciding, which ones we wanted to incorporate. This is one here. style, the dresses are a little different in each case. So we were trying to, the programs are getting better about their consistency for sure, but it's again, not always great. Let's see if I get down here. So then we added in another model with a different dress, played around a lot with this is in Midjourney with the different images and the videos. And here's what it ultimately came out. We did use CapCut in this instance, and the music again is from Suno. But you can see that the style between the different models is pretty consistent. The feel, the fact her feet are in the water, we fixed later. I just didn't have that cut, but it was an interesting effect. And they loved the way that the dresses looked and the style was projected. The scene with the music gives them a very strong promotional piece that they can use. No. Yeah. I think so. There's so much more that I could show you, but I know we've got about 2 minutes left. And I just wanted to go back to that question about the seeds. If I can provide a reference table for how seeds are seen within the different programs. Not all the programs use seeds consistently and in the same way, but certainly for Midjourney, there's a reference that you can utilize, and I'm happy to provide that. So, ladies, how I could stop there. I seriously have like I know when I was doing this this morning, going through the whole thing that I had too much in my PowerPoint to go over for 1 hour, but more that we are doing at Turo. What's so great is the Turo Lab and all the support they're putting behind these courses, as well as just research in general and embracing AI. Some of it's great, some of it's okay, but how is that for this evening?
You did excellent as always. Thank you as always for sharing your expertise, Dr. Fitzgerald, and thank you so much for tonight. Thank you
Thank
for
you
joining us,
all.
and we'll send you a follow-up email,
Yeah,
with the links that would be included. There will be past workshops that Dr. Fitzgerald have done you could look at until you get this one. Okay? Have
wonderful.
a great
Thank you
night,
so much.
everyone,
Have a
and
great
thank
night.
you for
Thank you,
hanging with
everyone.
us.